Hey everyone, hi. Welcome to Yin with Sound, and my name is Linda, and I'll be leading you through this wonderful, relaxing, calming practice here tonight. It's Thursday, happy Thursday. This is the night I usually practice on Tuesday, Thursday nights, as I did this week, except Tuesday was kind of a crash. Anyway, I'm here tonight and we're gonna get it done. All right. So we're going to get started, and next week I'll be continuing the same schedule I had this week, Tuesday, Thursday evenings at 7 for Yin with Sound. And I'm gonna show you next week how to, with the great idea of my daughter Emily, how to just grab anything in your house that would be considered a great prop. You don't have to have the official props. If you can, that's nice. But there's props at home that you can use, and we'll find out on Tuesday night. Great. All right, so let's let the calming and relaxing begin. We're going to come into a comfortable seat and bring your hands into your lap. Close down your eyes. And come into this space, wherever you're at home here. Letting go of the day. You might have had a semi-busy day. Running around the house, maybe you took a nice walk outside around in your neighborhood. Took your dog for a walk. Maybe you were a couch potato today. That's okay. We're in quarantine. That is smart. Whatever you did today, let it go. And we're going to arrive here on your mat for this Yin with Sound practice. We're gonna turn inward, connect to our inner self, find our true home, our teacher, our inner guide that leads us through this world. We're gonna relax and soften any rigid connective tissue around the joints in our body. Soften the fascia that holds us all together. Allow the muscles to relax and lengthen. Let's begin by connecting to the body. Allow the crown of your head to reach up towards the sky as the sun is setting here. Coming into a nice tall spine. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe roll them back and down a couple times. Unwind and uncurl those hunched shoulders. Bring them into stillness. Create space between the ears and the shoulders. And then you're going to bring those shoulders over the hips, centering that tall spine. And you're going to notice at the back of your pelvis, two bony protrusions called sits bones, anchoring your body to the mat, to the earth, grounding you, creating your sense of security and stability and safety on the mat tonight for your practice. Now we'll be turning to the breath, slowing it down, finding 3 calming, cleansing breaths first. That inhale will be in through the nose, and on the exhale, you'll part the lips, sigh the breath out, and bring a nice big tickle to the top of the throat, like this. Let's intentionally bring that tickle there. All right, 3 rounds. Deep inhale. And exhale, sigh it out. 2 more. Deep inhale, belly expands. Exhale, sigh it out. 1 more. Deep inhale. And let it go. Gently close the lips and continue slowing down the breath. Finding your pace that feels good in your body on your yoga journey tonight. You're going to feel the rib cage expanding on the inhale. And exhale, rib cage contracts. Deep inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose. This will be our breath throughout the practice tonight. Just a nice, slow, deep, steady breath. Bringing in a little extra nutritious, rich, fortifying oxygen into our body and nourishing our mind. If you're new to Yin practice, I guide you into a pose and you will settle in, find your comfort zone, and you'll relax. Continue the slow, deep breath. We'll be in this pose, releasing and relaxing for about 3 minutes. You want to feel a nice dull stretch where you have a little challenge. You do not want to feel a sharp sensation, no numbness or tingling. If that occurs, slowly come out of that and find your comfort zone spot and continue to breathe, and then join us in the next pose. Even just sitting here, slow, deep, steady breath and listening to the vibrations and balancing your mind and body from those sounds is comforting and calming alone. We'll be here for a nice hour relaxing, and this will help us to prepare for a beautiful night's sleep tonight. All right, a few more rounds of breath, slowing it down. We'll gently blink open the eyes. Bring your gaze ahead of you on the mat. And just notice how you feel. The subtle shifts and changes in your mind and body from slowing it all down. All right, yogis, welcome. Let's come into our first pose tonight, and that'll be melting heart pose, rocking forward. Come up onto your hands and knees. Let's come into neutral tabletop here. Knees are hips width apart, hips stacked above the knees. We're going to bring those hands shoulder width apart, palms pressing against the mat, spreading out those fingers. And the shoulders are stacked above the wrist. Draw in the belly, the rib cage. Nice flat back. Small tuck to the chin, gazing down at the mat. This is neutral tabletop. Feeling some engagement in the body, but no movement. Before we start into our melting heart pose, let's just loosen up our spine a little bit with 3 rounds of cat-cow. We're going to inhale, lower the belly, sway the spine. Exhale, draw the belly in, press the palms into the mat, arching. Inhale, chest forward, shoulders back. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, lifting the tailbone. And exhale, lower it. All right, so now we're going to work on our back, our shoulders. So you might have a block or a blanket handy. We're going to be bending at the hips. Chest is lowering towards the mat. Hands are walking forward. Eventually the forehead comes to the mat. And if that's a little too low, you can always bring the block under your forehead or a blanket. However you may lift and feel your lengthening in the spine. Very important to keep the hips stacked above the knees. So make that adjustment. Position your forehead on the mat. We're going to reach the arms forward, then relax them down onto the mat. Just notice how this feels. What are the sensations that arise in your body here? Settling in, finding stillness. And staying with the breath. Connecting to the sounds. On your next inhale, slowly lift up. Take your time. Walk your hands back into neutral tabletop. Come into 3 rounds of cat-cow on your own. Finding a nice flow in your spine. Matching breath to movement. Maybe beginning to notice a little more freedom in the spine. And then let's come into neutral tabletop from that end of the third round. We're going to transition into a toe stretch here tonight. So you might, depending on where you're at, if you're on a harder surface, you will want to bring a blanket under your knees. Option to bring a block between your feet. And you're going to tuck the toes. Starting in the tabletop, just gently lower the hips down to the heels. See how that feels. This may be your pose here. You might feel a nice, good stretch in those heels and the toes. A little more challenging, bringing your body up. Maybe try it, see, you never know. You can always come back down, keeping your hands on the mat. Find your shape here. And you can switch. You might start here for a few breaths and then come down for the other time. Just play and see what feels good. Settling in, finding stillness, staying with your breath. Heels, slowly come forward. Untuck those toes. And let's find some tap, tap, tap for our counter pose. Nice. And just for a couple breaths, you can keep your hands on the mat. Lower the hips back down onto the heels with the toes untucked to get a nice stretch. A few breaths here. You might even come up Interlace your fingers behind your back, giving those ankles a nice stretch. Roll the shoulders back and down. And then release. Let's come back up. And we're gonna come back to a nice comfortable seat. We're gonna work on our rib cage. So we're gonna grab a block and a bolster. The bolster is gonna come horizontal across the mat. Cuddle up next to the bolster. One end is around the hip area, the other end is by your knee. You're gonna grab your block and bring it to the outside of the bolster, about 6 inches. We're gonna keep that right leg bent in front of us. Lift the left leg, bend it, stack it on top, bring it out to the side. 2 options there. All right, so we're gonna work on the right rib cage. This helps soften the intercostal muscles to help the rib cage be able to expand and contract. A lot nicer breath. All right. Take a long inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, connect the rib cage to the bolster. Now the right arm is coming between the bolster and the block. Grab the block with your left hand and you're gonna lower your head on the right side of your head onto the block. Bring the left arm on top. Now check in with your body. You don't want to be leaning forward. Let's center the body. Stack the hips, stack the shoulders. 3 options for the arm. You can leave it on top of your body. You can lift that arm, bend the elbow, bring the hand behind you, and then keep the chest open. Or you can reach that left arm up and drape it over the side of your left head. A little more of a shoulder opener here. If they're feeling tight, this would feel good. Maybe be here for a few breaths and then bring it back to one of the first 2 I recommended. And let's close down our eyes. And find stillness. We're going to turn to our breath and really deepen the breath here in this pose. Take a nice deep inhale. Feel the rib cage pressing against the bolster. Long, slow exhale. Rib cage drawing away. Deep inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue that slow, deep breath. Experiencing the bowls. Let's pause here for our breath. And then bring that left hand in front of your on to the bolster in front of you. You're going to slowly press yourself up. Take your time. Let's eventually come back to our comfortable seat. And for counter pose, some clockwise circles. Inhale, lengthen. Lean to the left. Bending at the hips, sweep across. Coming around. Flowing with your breath. Merging breath to movement. Uniting them, making them become one unit. One more in this direction. Coming back to our neutral spine, we're going to set up for a forward butterfly. So we're going to need both blocks. Let's bring the feet together in front of us. Form a nice diamond shape. Bringing the blocks or books under your knees, making them feel well supported. Grab your bolster and one end to the belly, snuggle up. The other end resting on your feet. You're going to take your blanket, fold it in half, and then from that long rectangle, fold it in half again to a blanket square. This is going to be our head support where we connect the forehead. You can rest your arms on the bolster, or maybe they feel more comfortable just being at your side. Big lift with the spine on an inhale. Exhale, folding forward. And just come into this shape and notice how it feels. If this is a little too much of a fold, come up and turn your blanket, make it a little higher. Make sure your neck is comfortable. You're going to relax the legs. Release in your body. Come into stillness. Nice, deep, slow, steady breath. begin to lift up from the props. Let's take a moment here to find a cleansing breath. Take a nice deep inhale and sigh the breath out. Go ahead and place your bolster over, or pillows over to the left. Bring your hands to the outside of your knees, draw them back to center. Wrap your arms around your shins. Give yourself a nice big hug. And let's find our counter pose. We're going to come into some windshield wipers. Bring your hands behind you. Feet are hips width apart. And just slowly sway the legs gently from side to side. Noticing maybe a little range of movement, increase in the hip sockets. And we'll bring our knees into stillness here. And we're going to transition into our left rib cage stretch. So we're going to bring the bolster to the left side of our body. One end by your hip and the other end by your knee. Grabbing that block. And then you're going to have it set up ready to support your head. Inhale, lift the spine. Exhale, set up the legs. Bring that right leg on top or the right leg out to the side. And lower the rib cage down to the bolster. Left side of your head coming onto the block. And that left arm is between the bolster and the block. We're going to bring that right arm on top. And settle in here. Let's see how it feels. Connect the rib cage. Stack the shoulders, the hips. Center your body. And find your arm position for the right arm. Maybe just remaining on top. Bending the elbow. Or raising that right arm up and draping it over the side of your head. See what feels good here. Notice maybe a slight difference between the sides. Let's find that deep breath here. Really deepen it. Inhale. Feel the rib cage pressing against the bolster. Exhale, drawing away. Deep inhale and exhale. Mindfully breathing. ready, bring your right hand onto the bolster in front of you. Press yourself up. Take your time, no rush. Let's eventually meet back and seated. And for our counter pose, we're going to do some counterclockwise circles. Inhale, lengthen, leaning to the right, sweeping across to the left, coming around, bending at the hips. And flowing with your breath. Giving all our internal organs a nice massage with these circles. One more in this direction. And let's come back to a neutral spine and prepare for our next pose, which is a supported fish pose. The bolster is going to be horizontally across the mat. You're going to grab your blocks and place them about 10 inches on medium on either end of the bolster. And then you're going to turn, bend the knees, bring the feet onto the mat, hips width. So these blocks are going to be supporting your wrist. As we lower down onto the bolster, you're going to bring your shoulders on top. Now, depending on how far you want your head to hang over, this is going to help give yourself a nice neck stretch, open the front of your chest. So, according to your body and how much you want to hang here tonight, let's start with one spot, rolling down. Gently lower your head. See how that feels. Your arms are going to come out to the side, and the wrist or forearms can rest on the blocks. Now, be here for a breath. See how that feels. You can adjust your shoulders so that your head is resting nicely on the bolster, which is perfectly good. Bring those arms back out, resting the arms, the wrist on the blocks. Now with the legs, you can extend them forward and let them rest onto the mat. You can keep the knees bent, or you can bring the soles of the feet together. A little more of a challenge here. A nice hip opener, coming into butterfly legs. And close down those eyes. And soften and release your entire body onto the props, the mat. Settling in, finding stillness. And letting go all the tension, anxiety, and stress on the exhale. Connecting to the sounds. knees and bring the feet onto the mat. And bring your knees to your chest. Wrap your arms around the shins. Hug the legs towards your chest. And go ahead and release the feet back to the mat. And we're going to slowly roll over onto our side. And eventually come back up. All right, so we're going to clear the mat. Bring that bolster off the mat here. And we're going to come down onto our backs. So turn, bending the knees, gently come down. Roll down onto your spine. When you arrive, bring your knees to your chest for a squeeze. Little rock side to side. And we're going to bring the feet onto the mat. We're going to come into a nice, gentle twist. You might grab a block. We're going to twist to the right here first. So you're going to lift up the hips. Shift them over to the left. Lower them down. Draw the knees to your chest. And then lower the knees over to the right side of your mat. Now if your knees don't quite make it to the mat, slide that block underneath your bottom knee. You're going to extend your arms out to the side. Keep the shoulders connected to the mat. Close down the eyes. And come into your gentle twist. Feeling well supported and loved. Finding your breath, slow, deep, and steady. From where you're at, draw the knees back to center. Feet to the mat, straighten your spine. We'll hug the knees into your chest. Might feel good to rock side to side, giving the low back a massage. And then let's come into the other side. Feet to the mat, hips width apart. grab the block, maybe switch it over to the left if you needed it on the right. Lift the hips, shift them over to the left. To the right. Lower them down. Draw the knees towards your chest, and they lower over to the left. Grabbing that block, maybe placing it under the knees as they come to the left side of your mat. Arms extended out to the side. Deep breath. Relaxing into this pose. Center, feet to the mat, straighten the spine, hugging the knees into your chest. Gentle rock side to side. Let's come into happy baby pose. Reach through the center of your legs, grab the outer edges of your feet, bending the knees, little rock side to side. Release the hands from your feet. Bring them back to the mat. And we're arriving into Shavasana. Extend your legs out in front of you. Maybe grabbing a prop. You can bring a bolster under your knees, a blanket under your knees. Blanket across the abdomen. Arms down at your side. Palms facing up. Let's close down the eyes and take a final cleansing breath. Take a nice deep inhale. And sigh the breath out. Finding stillness, completely letting go. Embracing this feeling of calmness and peace. As you lie here, breathe in the future and breathe out the past in Shavasana.
Deepen the breath. Bring awareness back to your mind and body. Reach your arms up and back for a stretch. And then bring your knees to your chest for a squeeze. Gently roll over onto your side and pause for a breath. And slowly press yourself back up to seated. Once in seated, bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra, resting your thumbs on your sternum. Close your eyes. And take a moment here to notice how calm and peaceful you feel from your Yin with Sound practice tonight. Thank yourself for being here, honoring your mind and body. And thank you for joining me. It's been my honor and pleasure to guide you through this practice. Let's seal the practice with our own personal vibrations with a Om. Take a nice deep inhale. May wisdom and compassion fill your heart and mind. Namaste. Thank you, yogis, and I greatly appreciate your being here with me tonight. It might sound great to go and have a nice hot cup of chamomile or lemon ginger tea to top off the night before bed. And I will be live tomorrow on Facebook at 11 a.m. for a nice level 1 practice. So sweet dreams, and look forward to tomorrow and next week. Thanks. Namaste.